It's John here. So in this video, I'm going to go over landing pages, how to leverage the information first principle in your landers to make people beg you to buy. So here's 6 principles of a good landing page, and I'll be reviewing a bunch of other landers to just really help drive home these principles. So here's 6 principles of a good landing page. I've run a lot, as you know, I run marketing teams. I run a marketing team right now. I run an inside marketing team, which are guys that work very closely with me. And then I have an outside, basically outside reps who do marketing, aka affiliates. And I have everybody memorize these. So most important thing is the headline. So this is the most important aspect and the easiest to test. Let me actually bring up one of my things right here. Where's a good webinar page? So investing secrets investing secrets for your 401k or IRA that no broker will tell you. So it's an all right headline. And then let's go back here. The next is the product or the avatar image. So you want to have either show your product or show your customer avatar. Now, unfortunately, in this case, the customer avatar is, typically a 75-year-old conservative male. This would be too young of a picture. Of course, I know, this is the presenter, but the point is you want to have a picture of somebody who's in your target market, or you want to have a picture of the product. In this case, the product being sold is, it's not, it's gold. It's, it's a 401k or an IRA. You can't really see it. So, it's better to have a picture of the typical person that you're going to be trying to get to buy your stuff. Bullet points. So these are benefit feature pairs, basically. And let me bring up an example of let's bring up email list building. Let's see something with that. Let's get some. Benefit features. You know what? Some of these are too short to have benefit feature pairs. I'll put up an advertorial. So benefit feature pair would be something along the lines of, this is going to reduce your fat by 20%. Or you could say it's going to reduce your fat by 20% using a newly discovered protein. So, or you could say this will make, this big screen TV will make your life better because it is 70 inches wide, or whatever that is. To use some specific solutions for the love vitamin, benefit feature pair would be, so we have how to achieve glowing skin naturally. This would be the benefit, and then you'd have some feature by using plants you can find in your garden. How to stop feeling insecure because of breakouts using one small meditation technique. How to create real change from the inside out that lasts. And you could justify that with a feature such as, using, as seen in chapter 5. So what you're doing is you're just kind of mixing and matching. With physical products, it's pretty easy because you say, okay, this part of the product is going to give you this benefit. Social proof. Now, social proof is having lots of, as seen in So let's say Tracy was featured in, Good Earth magazine, or Good Housekeeping. She would say, as seen in, this would help add some proof here, is saying, as seen in, Good Earth magazine, as seen in Natural Healing magazine, as featured on Fox News, etc. So you'd want to, give ideas of the places that, add some social proof there. Let's see if they're doing that here. Now this is good. They're saying they have some logos here. You can barely see them, but they're saying they're part of the American Association for Justice, the New Jersey Association for Justice, and the Brain Injury Alliance. Now, unfortunately, Brain Injury Alliance, it doesn't mean a lot to anybody who doesn't. It only means stuff to people who have brain injuries. Um, and some of these made, if they could actually find maybe better logos, what would add more social proof? If they could say, maybe they were featured on, Fox News, or, they could say, they gave legal advice to Dr. Phil, or something like that. Then you start creating something that is more tangible to the consumer, because many of the consumers are not going to know about, the logo itself does carry some social proofing, but the typical consumer who got in let's say, a car accident isn't going to give a rat's ass if they're part of the American Association for Justice. But the consumer will care if they see a testimonial, if they see, if so these things, Kevin's story of how he got injured by a truck and was able to get a $570,000 settlement. That's powerful social proof, and that is real to the customer who's looking for that. Hope that makes sense. And I'll use it on the last one. If they were able, so sure, this looks good. The president is, Oliver is receiving some award, but honestly, that's just ego right there. You want to create something that's important to the agricultural customer. So they serve the agricultural industry, the agricultural processing industry. What they'd want to say is, maybe show a video or show a person in the agricultural processing industry using their machines. Maybe a small testimonial somewhere down here. That would be meaningful. Or if they show, if they said endorsed by Agricultural Processing Magazine, that would be social proof. That would be meaningful to the actual people who are purchasing their product. Now, on the flip side, you can have social proof that's too untargeted, such as, if you have Facebook logos all over the place. Everybody's on Facebook. It's not hard to get on Facebook. It doesn't say anything special about your company, but that is a form of social proof. Call to action. So this is the second most important factor, and also a very important factor you should be testing. So in this case, the call to action is, yes, Tracy, I want the free report. This is good. Now, you can still test this by getting rid of the exclamation points, getting rid of the yes, Tracy. You can say, send me my free acne treatment report, or whatever. That would be a very powerful way of testing. Also, putting that button higher up on the page, or maybe in between each section. They have another button here. Would be a good way to test. This is pretty unreadable font to the average human being, so a good thing to test would be just to test the font. So those are ideas. I think I already talked about this. Submit form, that's a horrible call to action. Let's look over some calls to action in my swipe file. So I run a lot of advertorial pages because one of the things I do is I my company promotes nutraceutical products in the so we promote basically homeopathic medicines to help people get smarter, stronger, lose weight, skinnier, better looking skin, etc. Here's an example. Buy 3 bottles, get 3 bottles free. That's the call to action. Um, in that case. In the case of this advertorial, it's get my free trial. So, and in this case, I would test out a lot of different things. I'd say get a free trial, get my free trial, get, you know, get a free bottle, etc. If we look at these email list building, we're seeing free instant access. You could try get free instant access. The button just says 100% free access. Join waiting list. See how. Yes, I want a free video. And subscribe today. So there are lots of different calls to actions you could test. That's a big factor. So the next factor is risk reversal statement. So you want to always make the action to be really easy for the customer to make. So let's look at, in the Love Vitamin, they made it easy because they said they're giving them a free report. So it's easy to take action because you don't have to give any, or it's there. You don't have to actually put down your credit card. All you need to do is give away your first name and an email, and you're suddenly getting a free report. So free is that, risk reversal. In this case, you're getting a free consultation, so there's no risk. It doesn't. All it costs is, it costs some time on your part. Now, I'm not sure. I haven't worked as much in the legal niche as some other people have, but some people might be lawyers have a reputation, especially personal injury lawyers, and some people may be averse to contacting lawyers because they know they're going to, it may end up costing them an arm and a leg. Now, this is a pretty good benefit. No fee unless we win guarantee. So I'd feature that a little more prominently. Oliver Manufacturing, if they gave away some, whether it's, the call to action is very non-prominent. Let's look at this here. The Oliver contact you need to talk to is only a call away. These aren't good call to actions. They have an email here, etc. But being able to get somebody's information in exchange for, like their phone number and email, in exchange for maybe some PDF files, of their products with more technical specifications, would be what I would imagine would be the best way to use that. Or even some use scenarios or some video walkthroughs of making your organization more efficient using their agricultural processing machines. Now here's a big one. I call it the believability principle now. The believability principle for landers. Give away information. Give away a lot of information. And qualify customers if you can. Qualifying customers can be done in multi-part landers. If we look at Refinance California, let's look at some landers in the mortgage niche. What we'll see is usually what we see is we see some multi-part landers. So let's let this load for a second. Okay, so we saw some things pop up now. Pre-qualify in minutes, featured rate. So this is actually a really poor ad copy right here. But what you'll see is, actually this is a very poorly done lander because you're noticing you can't select the loan type right here. But this is a multi-part, it's kind of a multi-part lander, but notice they're pre-qualifying the customer. Oh, you know what property type, you know what state, etc. And that way the person thinks they're going to get a quote based on what they're submitting. Here's another one. Refinance now and save thousands. So here's a good one. Completely free, calculate new payment. So what this lander is saying is basically, look, we're going to calculate your new payment based on the information that you give us. So no registration, no login required to compare. So what they're doing is they're just saying, okay, tell us about yourself, because this goes back to what I call the mirror technique. Basically, they're going to cater something specifically to you and your problem. This works in a lot of industries, especially stuff like mortgage, and stuff where there are really important things that people that you need to understand. That there's calculations that go into the back end. So it's definitely a good thing to test. So I'm going to go over some. I'm going over competitors' landers, and I'm going to talk about some tricks to skyrocket conversion rates. So the most powerful thing in marketing is before and after pictures. This is without question. Or before and after sorts of imagery. Now, they did it really well right here. This tells the whole story. This is her face beforehand. This is her face afterwards. This will sell most people. This is very well done. People want to know how they can take. How did that happen? You're showing the result in a very clear manner. A way that can be done, a before and after type, proofing can be done, is also talking about a story. If you play the video, it will kind of give you a before and after scenario, because the person will talk about where they were before. Maybe they were injured, they couldn't go back to their job, because their arm was broken, they were losing money, but then the Grossman law firm stepped in. They really took care of the person. They even visited the person at their house, and they ended up winning the person a lot of money to cover all the costs of them not being able to work for 2 years. They got them an extra $300,000. Now that would be, but that can be summed up without somebody having to click on the video. So it could say, Mike, you could have a picture saying Mike got injured in a truck accident and couldn't go back to work. Mike got injured in a truck accident. It's like Grossman law firm gave him, and Grossman law firm fought to have him, get his money that he should have earned, and maybe show a picture of him with a check and a broken arm. That would probably be, you could create a before and after scenario right there. Ex-trucker Mike Thompson, gets compensated for his accident, and have him with a picture of a $250,000 check. That's money right there. And let's do that. And for if we want to do that for Oliver Manufacturing, you would show something along the lines of, maybe you show a picture of you show somehow Oliver Manufacturing's machines are making these, the agricultural processing companies they work with more efficient. So what you could do for a before and after picture here is actually do a chart, an efficiency chart. Because efficiency, a chart, you're measuring time on the x-axis. So it's like almost like each point in time is a different before and after, if that kind of makes sense. So if you showed kind of cost per thousands pound of nuts processed or something, and you showed how Oliver Manufacturing reduced the overhead, reduced the cost of goods sold for a particular company by 27% over the course of a year, now you're talking business, because now you're showing how Oliver Manufacturing made a massive change in one of their in one of the businesses they want to work in, because this is a very technical sale, I'm imagining. So you want to give them that kind of technical research before and after. You can back it up with a quote or a picture of a happy guy to give that emotional element to the copywriting too. Dynamic personalization. So going back to my the bedbug product I sold example, I'm selling example. We have we sell this. We actually sell it worldwide. Massive. We don't actively pursue countries like Morocco, but this is dynamic personalization. No matter what country you are in, it's going to say massive bedbug epidemic hits Canada, hits New Zealand, hits Australia. Um, so this personalization, it goes back to mirroring people. You want to, if you're in negotiations and somebody's is very adamant and they're yelling about that a certain point, you want to yell right back with them. If somebody's talking very very low voice and very slowly, you want to talk very slowly and in a low voice to mirror them, and that's going to help you sell them better. So it's the same thing in advertising. You want to mirror, their location, or Martha investigates bedbugs in Morocco. Um, and notice we also say promo expires April 30th, 2015. So what we're doing is that's the date. That's the date today. So we're adding in a scarcity or urgency. This is actually called urgency element, and we're mirroring the date. So we're just it makes it seem a lot more legitimate. Urgency, I just talked about that. If you can sound off alarm bells for why they have to fill out the form, why they have to call your company right now, then you're in business. For instance, let's see if, so here's some urgency first of all. Massive bedbug epidemic hits Morocco. Nobody wants to hang out with bedbugs. So there's a little bit of urgency there. But most importantly, the promo expires today. If you want a good promotional price, you're going to have to contact the company today. Is there any urgency here? No, there is not. Refinance now and save thousands. So they're trying to allude to a urgency here. They're saying this is today's low refinance rate. Now, if they were somehow able to put a chart or something and show how today is lower than any other day in recent history, that would be money. But these companies are already doing well. Let's go. There's no urgency in contacting Oliver Manufacturing. If there's a way Oliver Manufacturing could create some sort of sense of urgency to contact them, that would be nice. There's no urgency for the Grossman law firm. find out if you have a case. That's good qualification. But yeah, if you use urgency, you want to do it in a manner that is congruent with your products. You don't want to force urgency, but at the same time, if you can, ring those alarm bells in people's brains to purchase or to fill out your lead form. It works really well. Scarcity, I mentioned this. If you're, get limiting the number of, it goes back to urgency. Another big thing is business reviews or social comments. People want to see what other people have to say. People want to see your reviews. This isn't A+ accredited business on BBB. People want to understand that you're well reviewed. The more congruent you can make those reviews with your industry. For instance, hotels and hostels want to be reviewed by TripAdvisor and Yelp. That works out really well. Restaurants, you want to show your reviews on Urban Spoon or Yelp because people know that's how you review restaurants. People don't care if you have an A+ by the Better Business Bureau doesn't help that much if you're a restaurant, but a good Yelp review really does. Expert proof, if you can show that you are you have the endorsement of a trustworthy professional, it really helps. Now, in the case of Tracy on the Love Vitamin, she's trying to set herself up as the expert, but if somehow her program was doctor recommended, or if somehow her program was dermatologist recommended, or if it was carried in GNC, if her book was sold in GNC, that would add an additional level of proof that would just take things to the next level. For the Grossman Law Firm, an additional layer of that authoritative proof. They're putting some associations here. He's trying to set himself up as the authority. I'm not really sure how to do it in the legal field, but they have some logos and stuff. It may help. And for Oliver Manufacturing, if they were able to say, for instance, that they are, their parts are NASA certified to last 1,000 years or to last under 1,000 degrees of heat, that would be, or whatever is pertinent to people in the agricultural processing industries, that would be helpful. And scientific proof. We talked about this, before and after pictures using charts or diagrams. The more charts, the more diagrams you can show to back up benefits within your actual landing pages, the more powerful it will make it. Now let's look at let me find a landing page that uses a scientific chart to back up some of their claims. So this does not. So on this Garcinia page, they say, read about this clinical study being done on, the Garcinia coffee bean extract. So they are alluding to a Garcinia study. Here's some social proof. Let me give you an example of what I mean, though. So weight loss chart, weight loss affected areas. And let's see if, so here's a good one. If you somehow were able to say, hey, look, if you had if maybe just next to this you said, these are the areas where our diet pill works the most, that would be that would be effective. Let's see, weight loss diagram. Now see this picture, it looks scientific. It looks like there's some sort of, correlation there. So this, you may not know what this actually looks. Let's bring this up here. Now what you can see is they're calling out particular areas of fat. You don't even really need to know. You don't really need to even read the text on the picture to just kind of what the brain kind of does is it assumes, oh, this looks like something I've seen in a science textbook. They've probably done their research. I can assume they've done their research, and they don't end up they don't even have to read. They don't even have to read this stuff to know or to think they know. You've done your research, so that's really important. I always look at stuff like that, diet, chart, or diet, diagram before after. And let's stuff like this. Belly fat, scientific, and I'll just do stuff like that, and if I'll try to find, here's a great one. So this, this visceral fat and subcutaneous fat, you don't need to have any other things supporting this image for people to assume that, somehow your product, let's say I'm selling a diet pill, it's going to get rid of this fat and this fat. So you can do this for any product. Just all we have to say is acne. And we put up some pictures of acne like this, and suddenly people think we know what we're talking about more than other people. Now that's it for this section. I hope that's been enlightening. Your landing page in AdWords is extremely important. Your landing page in AdWords is extremely important, and it really defines how successful you are in your campaigns. I cannot understate how important your landing page is in AdWords, especially if you're in a very competitive market like something selling info products, like acne. Your landing page is just quintessential. So you should always be testing your landing pages. If online marketing is a priority for your business, you should be taking it seriously, and testing is part of that. So always be testing, always be testing, always be testing. If online marketing isn't an important part of your business, then you don't need to test. But if you're here, I'm guessing it is. So I hope that's been helpful. I will in this next video I'll be going how to obtain an ROI advantage you need to scale by finding, we're not going to find the most profitable offers, but basically by optimizing your advertising. Hope that's been helpful.